One of the ways that we apply Paul's guidelines for work and home in our lives today is in what we prioritize in our homes. I think it's important for us to recognize, for example, Paul says in Ephesians 5 that husbands and wives, their relationship with one another is to see as its paradigm Jesus Christ and the church. So that when we relate to one another as a husband and wife, that one of the things we must keep in mind is relating to one another with the love, the care, the cherishing with which Christ relates to the church. Not only that, Paul goes on in Ephesians 6 and speaks of fathers, and he says, fathers, to raise up your children in the discipline and in the instruction of the Lord. That should change our priorities as parents, because these terms that are translated in many translations, discipline and instruction, they are the terms that are used elsewhere for discipleship and for the church, for how we relate to one another in discipling in the church. For example, that word for discipline is also used in 2 Timothy 3:16. And in 2 Timothy 3:16, it's spoken of there, it's what the Word of God is supposed to accomplish in people's lives. So discipline in a New Testament sense is not just how you manage your children's behaviors. Rather, it's speaking of how we work the Word of God purposefully into their lives. It's really analogous to in Deuteronomy chapter 6, where it speaks of teach them diligently. Teach your children diligently. And that word for instruction, that's used elsewhere in the Bible to describe how we warn our fellow believers of heresy or of sin. That's that word, how it's used elsewhere in the New Testament. And so what that should remind us of is the way we are to view our children is as potential or actual brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. That's how we're actually to view our children. And how do I warn them of heresy and of sin? And how do I do this in such a way that I'm treating them as potential or actual brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ? So it's a prioritizing of the discipleship of our children. These terms remind us that our children are more than our children. Yes, they are children, but they are more than our children. They're potential or actual brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ. If I stand beside my daughters before Jesus in eternity, I will not be standing beside them as their father. I will be standing beside them because we are brothers and sisters who are brothers and sisters not just with one another, but brothers and sisters with Jesus Christ because of Jesus Christ and His work. And what that should compel me to do now is, rather than viewing them as only my children that I'm supposed to raise and manage their behaviors and make sure they're successful or whatever else the world's values may press toward us, but rather I'm to be raising them as potential or actual brothers and sisters in Jesus Christ.